Hello. Hi. This hairstyle makes me look so young. And my face is already young. Um, anyways, hello. So, if you don't know me, my name is Chimso or Ure or Urena Chimso. Welcome to my channel, my little corner of the internet where I literally just talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. Um, from a philosophical perspective, I am a philosopher, applied philosopher of sorts. Today, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about knowledge. I want to talk about how we know the things that we know and that we don't really know anything. Hello. Um, so I've been trying to record every day. It's been 2 weeks since I've been doing it. I've been doing a pretty good job. I think I only missed 2 or 3 days. So we're on a roll, kind of. But as we've hit this middle stride of recording every day for a month, 30 days, I'm starting to feel the parts where it's like, I don't want to record. And so it's I don't want to record one. I don't plan my videos out. I'm trying to do this to get just comfortable being public on the internet with my thoughts. But when I was recording before, I need to work on my talking speed. I literally just got on here and started talking about whatever it is I wanted to talk about, and I would talk for 30 minutes. And that's typically how it goes, and it's probably going to be about 30 minutes today as well. But okay, well, what was it? But on days when I didn't feel like I had anything to say, then I just didn't record. So now it's like I have to have something to say every day, and I do have a lot. I have a lot to say, but I think there's an element of self-consciousness that I have, which is part of what I want to talk about. In terms of getting on the internet and speaking for free, I really do wish I had the boldness of um, a lot of people that are on the internet talking, because I think I could change my life. If I did, I have a lot of perspective about different things just because I'm very thinky. I'm very heady. I'm very curious. I ask a lot of questions. I learn things and pick up on things very quickly. And so I wouldn't say I know a lot of things, but I have a lot of perspective on a lot of different situations that could probably be beneficial for other people because they've been beneficial for me. But I think because I am aware of so many perspectives, it creates this sense of, I would say humility, but honestly it comes off as self-consciousness in terms of I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't. How can I presume to say that I know anything besides like my own experience of life? And yeah, I think like so then when I'm seeing people on the interwebs speaking confidently, so confidently about things, and they're talking about things and I'm like, I know exactly what to say to let you know. Not even just to say that you're wrong, but to make you aware of the fact that you are wrong. And I'm like, if other people can be so confident on the internet talking absolute nonsense, or even people that are confident on the internet talking about things that they do know, but they just have access to limited information and experiences to inform their perspectives. Why can't I? Why can't I get on the internet and be comfortable talking about what it is that I do know? I think it's because as a philosopher of sorts, my brain tends to default to finding things that are universally applicable. And I have gradually come to learn that as limited human, it's kind of almost impossible. There's just no way that you will ever, like literally ever, be in all possible situations that a human being could be in to then talk about a human being and then just like all matter to then talk about what is universally applicable. There's no way. So we're always talking from our context, but I think I said this in one video. Excuse me. The way we talk most of the times is from a universalized and generalized perspective. We take our limited and subjective experiences and project them onto all of reality. And I think I have a problem making that step. Um, because I just like I don't know why, but in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking about someone somewhere out in the world may see my video and have an experience that's different from what I'm talking about and be like, this is incorrect or this doesn't apply here. And I don't know why I'm so concerned about being like the things that I'm saying being universally applicable because what I'm saying doesn't have to be universally applicable to be impactful. Everything I'm saying can be contextual. And I mean, that's kind of the basis of this channel, just talking about my philosophy of life and whoever it applies to. Great, it's helpful for them. Whoever it doesn't apply to, also great, they've heard a new perspective. So, yeah, I don't know why, like, sometimes it just like, it makes me so anxious to speak, like, sometimes, and I'm just like, no, I don't know anything. No, I don't have anything to say. When I have a lot, I have a lot. I have a lot to say. I have a lot of perspective in my very short life. In my very short life, I have a lot of perspective um, that I could offer. And yeah, so I just decided to come on here and talk about that instead of feeling, because genuinely it makes me anxious. Instead of just feeling this massive feeling and avoiding making a video about something. So I guess just premise or preface for all of my videos, I'm speaking from my individualized context and the things that I have been exposed to thus far. I do think a lot of the things and perspectives that I have arrived at are applicable to a lot of different contexts and circumstances and can be very beneficial to people within those contexts. And I think I need to just keep reminding myself that that is good enough to be impactful and to not try and save the world. It's not my job. It's not my job to save the world. Anyways, continuing off of this, I don't know anything. Basically, the subfield in philosophy for this whole question of how do you know that is called epistemology. Literally, epistemology is how do you know that? Episteme, I think, being Greek. I don't know, either Greek. I know ology is Latin. I mean Greek. Episteme either being Greek or Latin for knowledge, one way or another. I don't know. And then ology, the study of. So the study of knowledge, or how we know, trying to understand how we know what we know. And this is a question I'm constantly asking myself because my brain turns to generalizations and universalizations very quickly. And I think also because I don't think just because I'm trying to be a savior of the world. I also think genuinely like people generalize things that they hear to their entire lives and contexts as well. I don't. This is a generalization that I'm making, but I think sometimes like we take things that we hear from one context, not realizing that what is being said is contextual and it's probably accurate for the context this person is coming from. Take it to our lives that have a different context, and then even take it out. Like, let's say somebody's saying something about relationships, and this is accurate to the experiences that they've had of relationships. We may then take what they say and apply it to relationships in our lives, which probably isn't even the same context. But then not just apply it to relationships, but then apply it to something like, I don't know, business. Like, I think that's just the nature of making truth claims and making truth claims, attempting to make factual statements about the nature. Oh, it's getting worse. There we go. Attempting to make factual statements about the nature of reality. When you do that, you're basically telling people that this can be universally applied. And I don't think a lot of us are even aware that the things that we believe are universal are actually very contextual. Highly, highly contextual. Completely, completely contextual, actually. Um, Even if the context is like, this is applicable to most human beings alive on the earth today. That's still a context. And LOL, this is reminding me of like the function of truth video that I did, but it's like, okay, when we're making truth claims, they're serving a certain function, which is to help us enjoy our lives a little bit better. At least I would think, or help us make decisions a little bit easier than we normally do. And I don't know why for me, like that's just not, it's just not enough. It's just not enough for me to feel confident in the things that I'm saying. How did this happen? Because actually, like I'm a very, like you could probably tell from the way that I speak. I'm very, when I have a conviction about something, I have a conviction about it. Like I genuinely like believe it. Very hard to convince me otherwise. And I've just always been like that. Like if I believe something, I'm just gonna say it like as it is. So what changed? I don't know. Genuinely, like I don't know. It definitely happened after graduation. So much happened after I graduated 2 years ago. I think it may have been being exposed to um, different Christian denominations and what they believe, and seeing how, oh, the way that I grew up is not the only way to do Christianity. It's actually a very small population, like portion of the Christian population. So that has been extremely destabilizing. Extremely, yeah, extremely destabilizing. And then also, this inquiry that I have, kind of similar but different, into traditional Igbo spirituality or Odinani, and just studying it a little bit and the society that was built around these principles and the whole idea that like Africans tend to see spirit like traditional spirituality as demonic because of colonization, colonialism, or colonial Christianity. And realizing that this specific traditional philosophy has produced results that are not that different from Western Christianity and Western Christian society in certain aspects, and honestly has surpassed them in certain aspects. And just being, yeah, I guess the foundation of my life, being a Christian, kind of being coming into question. And yeah, I think that is what made me realize everything is contextual. Like everything. What is truth? I don't know. The only thing I know, or that I choose to believe in, is that Jesus rose from the dead. And I can't even prove that because I wasn't there. That is also like a contextual thing. Everything that we believe and that we think and that we hold to is based on context and experience. It's based on stable relationships, as I was saying in like the truth video. Things that we have consistently seen to hold up, we then say like that's true. However, however, have you been in enough like varying situations to actually know that this holds true across the board? Have you tried to take a different perspective and approach to your situation to see if something else would result from it? Um, yeah, epistemology is it's a very interesting field. I haven't formally studied it. I just know of the idea, and it's just something that I naturally do as a very inquisitive person. And yeah, if you go long enough, you'll lose your mind. I lose my mind like every 6 months, genuinely, just because of the way my brain works. It's not the most fun place to be. I genuinely don't suggest. I don't. The mind that I have is like, is it a blessing? I'm in a place right now where it doesn't feel like a blessing. So sometimes it feels like a blessing. Sometimes I'm like, this is a freaking curse. I've been cursed. But anyways, yeah, I think epistemology is really interesting. Not in search of what the truth is, but in search of the things that influence us to believe certain things and yeah, to hold to certain concepts and why we do that and the influences behind it. I think the biggest thing has been not my biggest foray into that has been Christian intellectual history or Christian theological history. I'm currently in a PhD program for economics, so that's another one in terms of understanding the history of economic thought, but not just like the history of like what people thought, but like the context behind it, the socio-political context behind the creation of certain economic theories, and realizing that everything that we say as human beings is context bound. Everything. I think even in the scientific realm, like I think of the theory of relativity and quantum physics replacing classical theory, which seemed to hold up across the board. I don't know what it was that I don't know if it was something that made them start questioning classical physics, or they just stumbled on something that showed that classical physics is not universally applicable. But it's like even something that seems as stable and as concrete as the hard sciences, as physics specifically, has gone through iterations, like massive iterations in the past 100 years, and they're still trying to figure out how do we integrate these different things because of a different experience, a different context in which different rules and different lenses had to be applied. So yeah, it's something that I think about often, and I'm trying to figure out where do I find my footing again, because I am a very integrated person. If I have a lens of reality, I tend to have it across the board for everything that I do. Like I tend to like my life to be aligned. I can't inhabit multiple. I can't. I'm not someone that can do dissonance. I just can't. So I can't necessarily inhabit multiple different and discrete ways of approaching the world in my mind. Like this is how I approach this, and this is how I approach that, and this is how I can't do it. I can't do it. What am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah, so I'm trying to find something that feels grounding, which is hard. Which is hard when you're aware of something like epistemology, because then you start questioning why this feels grounding, where it came from, how do they know? How do you know? How do you know? That's the whole question. How do you know? How do you know what you know? Are you sure about that? Because I could ask you a few questions. I could ask you a few questions to make you very unsure about what it is that you're talking about. I like to think of myself like Socrates, because all that man did was ask people questions. He was genuinely trying to figure out who had the truth, and all he did was ask people questions, and their worldviews came crumbling down. And then he was like, and it's not even like he was trying to ask them to show them that they were wrong. He was genuinely asking because he wanted to know, and he realized that what people were saying couldn't stand up to the weight of his questions. And he's like, yeah, I don't know either, and I'm still trying to figure out who knows. So yeah, I feel like him a lot of the times. Um, he is my spirit animal. He's he's a great character, honestly. So I've heard or I've come across that there is a similar character in Yoruba mythology called Orunmila, and I forget what her name is. She's a Nigerian Yoruba philosopher, Sophie something, but she was talking about him. I think she wrote a book about like Orunmila and Socrates. Anyways, yeah, there's just this character that's very questiony, very questioning, asks a lot of questions, asks questions about things that we don't think should be questioned, or we don't think questions should be asked about, and just destabilize, scatters, just scatter everything, every destabilize. It's hard to live life that way. It's hard to live that way. It's hard to feel confident about any decision that you make, or anything that you feel, or anything that you think. And I'm jealous. I'm jealous of people who are so confident in what it is that they're saying. I used to be that person. I used to be that person, and I miss her. It just makes life so much easier and so much simpler. Like you just filter everything through that. It just makes it so simple. Um, yeah, and I'm still in search of a grounding. Excuse me, a grounding philosophy. I think I arrived at it genuine, at least something that worked for my life, which I would say is I've literally been talking for 20 minutes about nothing. Nothing. I haven't been saying anything. Um, the ascetic and mystical tradition of Orthodox Christianity. Very niche. But I just think it's very aligned with the experiences that I have had in my life. My grounding principle is love. It's just been difficult to live that out because my mental health and circumstances of my life have not been the best since graduation. But I think when I had like lived out that realization, when I was in community and close friendship, um, I think that's when I felt the most calm, at peace, and alive to life. So my grounding theory is love. I'm just trying to figure out how to get back to that place and live it out again. Love in terms of God is love. Everything is held together by love. Everything is moving and being directed because of love. Whatever love means, whatever that means, we'll figure it out together. Yeah. How do I want to end this? I guess just if you have a taste for just destabilizing your mental health in your life, I would encourage you to question why you believe the things that you believe, where you got it from, and why you trusted those sources. If you want to be just a little destabilized, um, and maybe ask yourself if you were in a different context, would you still believe the same things, and why? And yeah, I think that's all I have. Still feeling anxious, still feeling self conscious, still feeling like I have absolutely no business being on the internet talking about anything, but we did it. And we'll come back tomorrow just as anxious, just as self conscious, and do it again. Hopefully, hopefully, we have a more concrete topic. I do have different things I want to talk about. Um, I think I can think about it in terms of like just sharing my perspective and what I have encountered so far. But again, my mind just wants so badly to be universal, so we shall see. But thanks for stopping by.